Good day, Empowerment Technologies learners. This is Sir Carl, and welcome back to our online class or YouTube class. In this video tutorial, I am going to teach you on how to use Microsoft Excel. For the past weeks, we focused on different application tools or productivity tools that can be utilized once that you chose your profession or you will have your job soon. And of course, these are usable for you as a student. After learning word processor, slide presentation, it's now time to use or for you to learn a spreadsheet. And if you're using Windows computer, you are going to use spreadsheet through Microsoft Excel. By the way, if you talk about spreadsheet, it is an electronic form or a software for a computer, which is you are allowed to analyze data, you're allowed to store data. To start using your Microsoft Excel in your computer, you go to Microsoft Excel and it will bring you to this home page. Now, to start using the Microsoft Excel, after pressing the button for it, you choose blank workbook. Now, let us have some terms to be at least to be focused on this tutorial video. If we talk about column, this is a column looks like. This is the part of the spreadsheet which is it runs vertically. Meanwhile, this is what we call row. Now, how are we going to identify a column and a row? If we talk about column, a column is identified by a letter. As you can see, we have here letter A, B, C. Meanwhile, if you talk about row, a row is identified using numbers. Here, 1, 2, 3. Now, the intersection of a column and a row is what we call cell. In this video, you will do an activity which is you are going to do a monthly budgeting activity using Microsoft Excel. Now, I am going to show you the workbook that I made for monthly budgeting. Now, this is what we call a worksheet. So, a worksheet belongs to a workbook. As you can see, there are parts that are having lines and there are parts that are being merged. So in the next part of this video, I will teach you on how to put borders or how to merge cells that can make your presentation or analysis or storing of data more organized. So let's have this tutorial, which is I am going to teach you how to do like this on what you see right now on the screen. So there will be components which are the sources of income, allotted budget, and savings and investment. Aside from learning technology in my class, I am now inserting financial literacy, and it is now one of the most important things that you need to learn as students. So let's start. Let's have a blank workbook. In this book, you can see here sheet 1. So in a workbook, there is what we call a worksheet. You can add other sheets if you want by pressing this plus button in the bottom left of this worksheet. Now, let's have the merging. Now, if you talk about merging, it is the what we call the process of combining cells in a worksheet. Now, if you look on your supplementary material, I had a screenshot that I included there. You can see that there are parts that are merged with borders and there are parts that having no borders. Now, how do we have merging of cells? You can do that by putting this one, your cursor here, sorry, highlight the parts or the cells that you want to merge. Now, after highlighting, press the merge and center. As you can see, the cells are now merged. Now, encode the details that you need to encode based on the worksheet or based on the supplementary material that I gave. As you can see, aside from numbers, you can encode letters. You can encode words. Well, Excel has what we call different materials that you can integrate to. So you can see here, it is functioning or it has functions the same with Word. Now, you can also change the font or the font style of these highlighted words. But for this tutorial video, I am going to use Calibre. I want to make the letters bold. I will just press this part, the bold button. It makes the text bold. Now I'm done with this part, which is merging the cells A1 to G1. We read cells as combination of letters and numbers. Again, A1, this is A1. In this case, I have merged the cells, so I'm going to use this part. If you talk about A2, this is the intersection, right? This is a cell. Therefore, this one is called as A2. Now, I am going to leave this part. Now, let's go to A3. Now, I need to encode sources of income. You learned a while ago the merging of cells. Now, let's apply it in this part. Highlight the parts that you want to merge. Press merge and center. It will bring you to this what we call way of merging. Now you see the words are placed in the center. Now you can change the position of the words by doing align left or align right or center. Now I press align left. Now I'm going to highlight this one and make the letters bold. Later I am going to put borders for these merge cells, but for the meantime I am going to encode the following information about sources of income. I will follow what is included in the supplementary material. I am expecting that in your output, you are going to submit to me the spreadsheet following the instructions that I included in the supplementary material. I am going to put now the following information. If you look at the supplementary material, there are cells that are merged together. So we need to follow the merging based on what I encoded in the supplementary material. Now for the monthly salary, I am going to merge the cells from A4 to E4. I will do the merging, then align left. I will also do the process for the content under A5 and total. Now, I am going to merge cells of F4 to G4, then F5 to G5, and F6 to G6. Now, let's now encode numbers. In Microsoft Excel, you can definitely encode numbers. There are 3 figures that are present in table number 1. Now, we will identify this part as table number 1. There are figures, and these are 25,000 pesos, 10,000 pesos, and 35,000 pesos. I forgot to put decimals. Now, the decimals disappeared. So, in order for me to make this figure 25,000 as 25,000 pesos, I need to include a currency sign to make it a figure which is a money value. So in order for me to have this figure to be as currency, I am going to move my cursor here. Now I'm going to change the number format into currency. Now, if the peso sign is not available firsthand in the number format, you can locate that by pressing this arrow. Now, you go to currency or accounting. So I am going to choose currency because I have selected a while back currency. And as you can see, it gives us the power to choose how many decimal places you need to include in the figure, or what is, the symbol, the currency symbol that you will use in the worksheet. I am contented with this setting, so I will just click OK. Now, I am going to do the same with these 3 figures. In order for us to be fast or faster in choosing the number format, I'm just going to highlight the figures that I need to change the format. Go to number, or this one, number format, and select currency. Now here you have seen that there are decimals included in the figure. Now, I want to show you how we compute using spreadsheets. So I am going to remove 35,000 pesos for you to use the different equations or the different mathematical operations, I should say, in Microsoft Excel. Now, in order for us to do addition of figures, we need to encode the equal sign. This one. Now, I want to add 25,000 and 10,000 pesos. There are two ways you can do addition. One is you select the cell, the first addend. Now, in this case, I use my mouse and you can see that there are um, blue lines present in the cell that I selected. It will be like that once that you click a cell after putting the equal sign. So after selecting the first addend, next you use the plus sign. To do that, press shift, then locate the key with plus sign. Then choose the second addend. Now, you see here that there are lines moving. So it means that you are now currently conducting a mathematical operation. After putting or after selecting the cells that you want to perform a mathematical operation, press enter, and there you go. You have seen the what we call the total of the equation, or yes, the total of the equation that we performed, or that we want to get the answer in this worksheet. We're done with table number one. Now, in order for table number one to be table, what we need to do, we're going to put borders. How to put borders? Select the area that you want to include or to put borders. Now, I have highlighted A3 or this row 3 to row 6. I'm now done with this. So what's next? I'm going to press this one, bottom border. So there is a drop down arrow button here. Now let's select all borders. And here you go. The cells are now being grouped, and they are now surrounded by borders. Now, we're going to apply merging and addition. What else? Currency, or yes, accounting in the next tables. So let's review the screenshot that or the workbook that I made prior to this tutorial. Now, we have successfully created the table number one. We followed the format. You see here now on the screen that the cells are grouped. They have now borders. The figures have peso sign. So let's go to the next table. So in the next table, we're going to use rows 9 to 16. Let's go back to our worksheet. We're going to leave the 7th and 8th rows. We're going to start at row 9. Row number 9. We're going to merge the cells A9 to G9. Let's merge the cells. Let's encode allotted budget. Highlight to make the letters bold. Next, we're going to merge the following cells, A10 to E10. Then we have F10 to G10. There are batches or groups of cells being grouped. Now let's encode food and other essentials. Next, let's go to electric bill. We're going to apply the same process of merging cells. Electric bill. Next, we have the water bill. Let's highlight this part. Let's merge this part. Next, let's go to communication bill. Please be careful in typing. I'm going to check the content of your output. Be careful in your spelling. Now we're going to apply still the process on merging in the following rows. Transportation, other expenses, and total. I want these components to be aligned left. To do that, I am going to use my mouse and highlight the parts that I want the contents to be aligned left. After highlighting, I'm going to press this, the align left button, and here, I'm done with aligning the components of allotted budget to the left. Now I'm going to merge the following cells in order for me to put the figures. Then encode the following. We have 7,000 pesos, 1,500 pesos, 1,000 pesos. Okay, so I'm going to remove the decimals. Okay. Transportation, 1,500 pesos. Transportation, 2,000 pesos. And other expenses, 2,000 pesos. Now let's apply the changing of number format. Select currency. Aside from currency, you can have accounting. Why? Because it has peso symbol, but in this case, I'm going to choose currency. And we're done with changing the number format of the figures being highlighted. Now, I want to get the total of for this table. I want to get the total for the allotted budget. So to do that, I'm going to press the equal sign. Now, in this case, there are many addends. So we can use now sum. A while ago, I demonstrated the clicking of cells that we want to add the figures. Now, we're going to use sum. This is a simple formula. Now, let's add the following by using this formula. So, after encoding sum, let's have the open parenthesis. So, we're going to click the first or the figure wherein it has the first addend. Next, we're going to choose the cell with the last figure. Okay, so as you can see, there are lines, blue lines that are moving. It means that you are currently performing a mathematical operation, or you're currently using a formula. Now, to finish the equation, let's use the close parenthesis. Press shift, then the key with the close parenthesis. Then enter. Now, the 15,000 figure is now present in the worksheet. We're done with table number 2, except it has no borders. So we're going to put borders by highlighting the rows that we want to put borders. Select all borders. And we're done with the second table. We're going to do the third table, and please review the supplementary material that I gave to you. Now let's have the worksheet that I made prior to this video tutorial. As you can see, we successfully done or followed the steps for table number 1 and table number 2. Now let's finish the making of this worksheet by putting now the information for table number 3. As you can see, rows 17 and 18 have no contents. We're going to start at row 19. Now at row 19, encode savings and investment. Now, let's merge the cells. We have A19 to G19. Merge in center, bold the text, and we're done in the content for row 19. Now let's finish the following parts of table number 3. Let's merge the cells that are needed to be grouped. We have A20 to E20. Next we have F20 and G20. We're going to merge the cells. Now let's encode life insurance. Sorry for my misspelling. I'm going to align the text later. Business capital and total. Okay. Now, after encoding the text, let's align them left. We need to merge the remaining cells needed to be merged. Now let's encode the following figures: 3,000, 5,000 and 8,000 pesos. Highlight the parts that containing the figures that you want to change the number format. Again, we're going to choose currency. Now, let's have this row. We need to identify the savings. In this table, it says that savings is sources of income minus the sum of allotted budget plus savings and investment. Now, in order for us to see the remaining parts of the merged cells, because as you can see, there are parts of the content for row 23 which is not appearing in the screen. So I'm going to adjust the height. Okay, so it's not working. Now, to do this, highlight this one. Okay, sorry. Just put the cursor here. Choose wrap text. Align left. Then merge the cells. On your worksheet, I encoded allotted budgeting. I need to correct myself. It should be allotted budget, because in the table number 2 it says here it's allotted budget. So you just follow this correct content for this row. Now let's perform the equation in order for us to find out how much is the savings. To do this, press the equal sign, choose the total of sources of income. It's F6. Next, press the plus symbol. Now let's have this one. We're going to put the figures that should be inside the parentheses. Allotted budget plus total of savings and investment. F16. Okay, I need to change the equation. It should be F6 minus open parentheses. Okay, let's have this one. F16 plus the total for savings and investment. Now, after putting the needed parts for this equation, press enter, and 12,000 pesos is now appearing on the screen. Now I need to put now borders for this table. Now in the screenshot that I encoded or included rather in the in what I gave in your weekly task, you see here the figures are aligned right. So I need to do that in this tutorial. Now highlight the figures, select align right. We're going to do the same process with the following tables or in the following tables. And here you go. We're done with making tables. And as you can see, you can use Microsoft Excel in budgeting. I hope that you're enjoying the things that we are studying under empowerment technologies. And for the past weeks that we're studying the applied technology tools or productivity tools, I should say, I hope that you're appreciating the usefulness of these tools. And we're done with how to use Microsoft Excel in budgeting. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.